So eventually you get it. So you stay with Bon Jovi on tour, on the Because We Can tour.
Yes.
You're in the midst of that tour. You're going to all these different countries, these different continents. Take us behind the scenes, day to day life for you and the band on such a massive tour like that.
Well, it's what's really cool about it is that I'm not John, so he can't, go outside of his hotel room because he'll just get mobbed. But at the beginning of my run, I could, put put my hair up in a hat and put glasses on and walk around Frankfurt, and nobody would know any better. But then as the tour got going and I more people had seen me on stage, and then someone took a picture of me with the hat and the glasses, um then I'd be in like Prague and on Stevens Bridge, and they're like, relax, and I'm like, no man, keep it down, keep it down. Because I mean, somebody screams Phil X, and then 30 people go, where? And before you know it, you're taking like 100 selfies and your day shot. So I mean, I love, especially in my position where, say a couple of months in, you'd still see the odd "Where's Richie" sign in the audience, you know. So there's still those people that exist, and but for the most part, I was just getting really friendly with the fans, and I think what was really cool is even in 2011, I tweeted something that won a lot of fans, which was, hey, I see these headlines in the press saying that I've replaced Richie Sambora, and it's really bugging me because replace, I haven't replaced Richie Sambora. I'm just helping the band do some shows while Richie works out his stuff. He's coming back. So as soon as I tweeted that, I felt like all the people that hated me, not all, let's say 40% of the people that hated me because they thought I was taking Richie's job liked me. So it became easier as I got into 80, 90 shows. it got it got easier in 2013.
Wow. And so I want to just go back to what you just said about your tweet, about talk about Richie Sambora. Obviously, was such a big role for you to just to step in and help the group with. How did you kind of gave us a little details about how you were dealing with it and stuff like that. Did it get overwhelming with people saying like, oh my gosh, why, he's replaced Richie, Richie's not coming back? Or did you think like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to not only help the band out, reach a broader audience with a group that's been around since the mid 1980s,
Yeah.
to make my own mark. Maybe we can make my own mark, and we can do something great together.
Well, it's what's amazing about it is I learned what super fans are. And super fans are people that go to multiple shows. And when I say multiple shows, I mean like from 25 to 50. I've seen signs in the audience that said, this is my 200th show. That's a super fan. That's a huge investment. But with this band, that could be over the 35, 40 years, right? But when you see somebody young that's been to like 100 shows, you're like, wow, man, you started late and you've still been to 100 shows. But that's not just 100, you know, tickets or VIP passes. It's 100 hotel rooms and 100 flights, and it's a lot. So, but they love the band so much, and I always looked at it like this. I always found there's there's a lyric or a song or John Bon Jovi as an entity touch somebody's life. It could be save their life. It could be something like that. And they just want to feel that as much as possible. So, hey, that's what I need to do. I want to feel that as much as I can. And I think that's pretty amazing. It's just it's one of those things. And for me, going in early and taking care of what I had to do, it was all about respect. It was respecting the band, respecting the fans, respecting the music, respecting Richie Sambora, respecting all that stuff. And then just, this is what you got to do, and this is what you're going to do. And then it just became a part of me. And you're right. And then a lot of fans started liking Phil X and the Drills after that. Because, I really like this guy. I wonder what his music sounds like. So when we go to the UK before lockdown in 2020, and we had 8 shows before everything got canceled because of lockdown in March. It wasn't uncommon to see like 10 Bon Jovi fans at every show. So, and I mean, some of them are the same at the same spot. Well, hey, you were there last night. It's like that. So, I think it's an amazing thing. Like people that love music so much that they just fall in with the band. And if we get the like not an overflow, but because it's like an amazing thing when you think about it, that these people just want to see the band. And we try to switch it up. We try to change it every night. And it's the same thing with John, Like I remember one night in 2013, there was someone holding up a sign that said "Wild is the Wind." And he literally looked at me and he said, "Do you know Wild is the Wind?" And I'm like, "Nope." And he goes, "Learn it for tomorrow." And then he, he turned around and found out another song because we couldn't do that one. And I did learn it that night, and we did run it in the tuning room because you don't really get sound check in a stadium because of people coming in at that time to
Yep.
fill the seats. And that's what it was. We ran it in the tuning room, and I went from playing in front of just the band in the tuning room to playing in front of 60,000 people.
Wow, it's unbelievable. And going back to what you said, it's about respecting the band, respecting the history, the music, lyrics, everything. Because every one Bon Jovi song might have helped somebody in their life. And
Yeah,
I remember, I remember when Have a Nice Day came out all those years ago. I remember when because the album Because We Can came out. I was just starting middle school, and it was a tough time for me. And I loved the album. This House Is Not for Sale, 2016. I was just starting high school. Forever, that just came out this year. It's my first job out of my home state. Their songs really connect with people, whether
yeah,
whether they're from the really very 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 beginning with Runaway all the way to songs like Now Legendary and Living Proof. It helps, it can really help people out a lot. And I just want to say you are doing a phenomenal job.
oh
Uh,
man, I
keeping
appreciate
that
that.
and keeping that legacy alive. And so I mentioned This House Is Not for Sale. That came out in 2016, and you officially became a member of Bon Jovi that year. Was there like was there like a swearing in ceremony, a party, or something to make you official member? Or was it like, all right, you're officially in?
I there wasn't an official gathering, but I remember being under the stage, telling my tech Mark Van Gool to switch pickups from one guitar to another guitar, and they were doing a VIP tour under the stage, and I saw my face on a Bon Jovi T-shirt, and that made a huge impact. Like being on the back of the record cover, that was one thing, but being on a T-shirt, it was like, wait, let me see that. Can I get a picture of that? Can I get one of these shirts? It was like one of those moments.
So, all right. So now, Phil, this is my favorite part of the interview. One of my favorite parts. It's called Rapid Fire Seven. Just seven quick questions, just for me and the viewers, just to get to know who is Phil X. What is he like?
I hate this game. I hate this game. I can't even remember my own lyrics. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. And I'm getting to the point where I can't even think of words. But because it's you, I'll do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. So, what do you like to do when you're not working recreationally? Like, what do you like to do? You like to run, like lift, like go golfing?
Dude,
What do you like?
if I'm home and not working, I'm dad. I go bike riding with my kids or take my daughter to a movie, or I'm just dad. That's all I get to do. And I
And
love it.
that leads me to my next one. Your favorite thing to do with both your kids.
When my me and my son go on a bike ride, We have the best conversations. It's literally awesome. My daughter, we draw together. She'll go, "Hey, Daddy, can you come and draw with me?" So she'll be drawing something, and I'll draw something, and then she'll make me draw what she drew because she wants to see my interpretation of it. And I thought that was, and she's 8, so that's pretty amazing. And my son is 11, and it's like talking to an adult. He says the craziest things, and he enlightens me sometimes. He tells me about the Google AI thing, and hey, Dad, did you know that they can 3D print a heart and it actually works? And I'm like, what? Like he's my source of the news of the world.
Wow. Do you have any favorite sports teams? I know you're born raised in Canada, so
Yeah, I'm not a big sports guy. I played hockey when I was a kid, and I when I got playing guitar, I just stuck to guitar. And I don't I've been to games in person. I think going to a hockey game is a lot of fun. I think going to a basketball game is a lot of fun. I've been to a football game. I don't follow teams. And it was funny because I had to fill in for Tico one time on the 2017 tour where they were doing, meet the band kind of thing. And there's 200 people there and everybody's doing a Q&A, and it's John, and on his right is David Bryant, and then I'm on John's left, and we're up there on with microphones. And this lady stands up. She goes, there's nothing more American than football and Bon Jovi. What are your favorite teams? And David tells his favorite team, and John says his favorite team, and I go, Eddie Van Halen. Because I don't follow teams. I don't know, man. It's
I still think that is a very, very great answer, though. That is a great answer.
Thank you.
And your favorite or your favorite funniest movie or TV show that you like to watch?
Um, it's funny. I'm gonna say favorite because we've been watching it a lot lately before the kids go to bed. They love Everybody Hates Chris. The Chris Rock as a kid.
Oh, that's a good show.
It
Uh,
is a good show. But my favorite movie that I mean, it's not. So I don't know if it is a funny movie, but Snatch, like that, for me, just watching Brad Pitt do that Cockney Irish accent that you can barely
oh,
understand.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Now that you said if it was Brad Pitt. Yep. I remember that movie. That is
Yeah,
that. Here's him trying to do that accent. It's pretty funny. Your favorite concert you've been to as a fan?
I was a fan. Actually, you know what? You caught me good. It's been the last few months. I got to see the Sammy Hagar best of all worlds, and that was pretty rad. It was I was more of a Roth era Van Halen fanatic, but even hearing Joe Satriani play all those Eddie Van Halen riffs during the Sammy Hagar I got like goosebumps. It was pretty amazing. And there was some songs that I really, really liked from that era as well. It's just it was a different band for me. They could have called it Van Hagar. But I also saw uh, Def Leppard, who always sound amazing, and I also saw Journey open up, and the Aron guy, quite the singer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
thought this is like the best live singer I've heard in a long time. It
mean,
was so. But I think if I have to say my favorite is that's tough. It's probably the Sammy Hagar, but I do have to mention this one thing. Dweezil Zappa played at the Orpheum Theater and invited me to get up and jam. So, but watching that show, I think the testament to musicianship in that band is unbelievable. It's like outstanding. And they all have these personalities that they get to, it's like they get to go to a playground and play on the monkey bars. And it's an outlet for that energy. And the Dweezil Zappa band was unbelievable. And I got to get up and jam, so that was even more unbelievable.
so you've been to so many different countries playing, all over the world. What country has the best tasting food?
Wow. I don't know, man. I had to say, I think Italy.
I think that's a no-brainer for everybody, right?
I
I mean,
think,
that's just
man, you go to Italy, and even if you have a salami and cheese sandwich, it's the best salami and cheese sandwich you ever had in your life. And you know,
and and finally for this segment, one artist or band you wish you could have played with.
oh wow, man. Um, I met Eddie Van Halen a few times, but I didn't get to jam with them. That would have been pretty amazing. I
I mean,
think that would have been the one.
yeah, I mean, what they did, it was so iconic. I mean, everyone still just can't believe that he's gone. Uh,
Yeah,
but he's still in everyone's minds all the time when they listen to Van Halen all the time.
all
Uh,
the time.
and so staying in 2016, which was quite a year for you, you also appeared in the documentary called Hired Gun about
Yes.
session musicians. For those who have not seen the film, tell us about it and your part in it.
Well, it's funny. It was shot after my segment was shot, and the interview was done before I became a member. So I had just filled in. So, because that, I guess that movie did take a long time to make. So, I didn't know I was staying in Bon Jovi when I did the interview, but I know I felt like some of the things that I did say in the like people always come up to me and they tell me they quote me from the documentary. Hey, great documentary! I love when you said this, and it's basically I open up at the beginning like I didn't want to be a side guy. I had been a side guy for so many bands and I been recording with other bands and I just wanted to do my own thing. Didn't want to be a side guy anymore. But literally, when you get a call from John Bon Jovi, how do you say no? You can't. So that ended up happening. But the session thing is pretty amazing. You have a job. You haven't written the songs. It's just your job as my instrument is the guitar. It's my job to put the best guitar parts on this song and to take people on the journey. Like you got the intro that comes blasting out in most cases. And then you got to take them on a journey that's a little smaller for the verse. And then you got the pre chorus that builds into the climactic chorus. That's your job. You just go in there and do that. And then I remember when I did all the guitars for the first Daughtry record in 2006. And it was a calling card. It literally, I got called, hey, get that guy that did the Daughtry record. And then my phone was ringing off the hook. And people are so specific that one producer said, hey, can you bring the acoustic you used on Home? I'm like, yeah, of course, it's right here.
Wow, wow. Now that's and now you mentioned you being essentially a gun for hire for a lot of groups,
Yeah,
and being a side guy, but eventually you formed your own group, Phil X and the Drills, uh,
yeah,
and this year, in fact, a little bit ago, you guys released a new single called "Don't Wake Up Dead."
yeah.
Walk us through that newest single, and is potentially any new full albums that you and the Drills are working on.
Yeah, no, it's finished. We're doing that. We'll probably Don't Wake Up Dead just came out last week. There's going to be a second single in January at the end, probably a third single in February, and then the record will come out in March.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm really excited about it. These batch of songs we've been recording since 2014. There's there's a different song. I mean, there's a different drummer on every song. So I just called on all my friends that I'd either recorded with or played with, and it's got like Tommy Lee's on it, Ray Luzier from Korn is obviously on Don't Wake Up Dead. Even legends, Tico Torres is on the track, Liberty DeVito's on the track. It's pretty amazing. But it's funny because I mentioned it to somebody, and she said, "Wow, 11 drummers drumming." like like 12 like the 12 days of Christmas. I laughed for about 20 minutes on that one.
Yeah, especially at this time of year. Yeah, actually, it's pretty funny. And 2024 has also been quite the year for you as well. I mean, Uh, Bon Jovi's newest full album called Forever was released with songs that kind of harken back to the group style during the 80s, like Legendary and especially Living Proof
Living Proof, yeah.
with the voice box and especially yeah, especially that song. Take us through the making of that album, especially after John's vocal surgery that he had a few years ago.
Well, it was for me being on the floor with and recording the drums and the basic tracks. So I'd be this is my spot, and then I got David Bryan, Tico Torres, John Shankstead on that side. We're like kitty corner on guitars, and then you have Hugh and John, and we're all on the floor at the same time. And for you not to get some kind of tingle being on the floor with these legends, you'd have to be dead. It's like I'm looking around, and then I try something and John likes it, or I'll try something else and he doesn't like it, so we just move on. It's like it's a very intense creative process, but it was so fun because we're all, we had spent a week in pre-production at his studio, and so when we came in, we were okay. But John had written and had lived with those songs for 6 years, 6 months to a year. So he had his expectations. He knew what he wanted to sound like. So you either had to rise to that occasion to deliver that or beat it. And sometimes you beat it. And when you beat it, you felt like, wow, that just happened. That was cool. And then there was one song, Waves, that John and John wrote with Jason Isbell. So there was no living with it. It was written one day, and then the next day we recorded it. So that was one of my favorite songs to record because it wasn't a thing until we started playing it. And there was a riff, and then there was a part, and then later that day or the next day, I just played a solo to it, and all my solos are inspired by the actual song. And we're a group too. It's a group effort. If I start playing too much, JVJ's like, play less. And then, oh, that was really good. Do that again. And then I do it again. So we're really constructing. Sometimes I just let something fly and they're like, wow, that was great. Done.
Yeah. And I especially, I love all the songs on that album, but one that stands out to me is "Living Proof" because of the voice
Yeah.
box that's on that song. Because it's kind of again it harpens back to how the group actually started out. So it kind of brings it full circle. So that's definitely one of my favorites that I've had on loop for the last like couple of weeks. It's just
Well, it's funny when you say full circle, because if you're looking at a clock, midnight would be living on a prayer. 6 o'clock would be it's my life. And then 11:59, the full circle is living proof.
it's living proof. Yeah, it's really it's a testament to what you guys have done to keep that that kind of just that style still going to
Yeah.
this day, and you're expanding to a new generation of Bon Jovi fans. I mean, not only are you still connecting with the generation that started off, but you're connecting with my the generation before me. I mean, that's you're connected with so many people with this album, and that's
And
got to feel rad, right?
I find this interesting. I find it interesting that in today's music, the younger generation, they know the songs, but not all of them know the band name. If I meet somebody and they're like, "You play in a band?" I don't actually. If people think I'm in a band, I say I'm not in a band. So like, "Hey, are you a musician?" No, man, I'm a chiropractor. I just I don't want to get into a conversation if I'm in a rush. And then if somebody actually gets into a conversation, we're talking and stuff, and it gets into more of a serious situation. I say I'm playing Bon Jovi, and they're like, "Who?" I go, "Bon Jovi." "Yeah, I've never heard of them." I go, "Yes, you have." And no, I haven't. "Yes, you have." And I go, "Whoa, living on a prayer." And they go, "Oh my God, that's my karaoke song. I love that song." I'm like, well, that's who it is.
Yeah, I have you heard? It's like, oh, okay, I wanted dead or alive. Yeah, just something like, all those kind of songs. It's my life. Have a nice day. Born to Be My Baby, Always. I mean, it's just there's just so many that people are like that often overlook, especially Living on a Prayer is played at it's played at a lot of a lot of bands play it. It's played at a lot of sporting events. It's even like high school sporting events they play that
Yeah.
song between timeouts in games. It's unbelievable. But and some kids are like, I don't know who it is, and then they figure out like, oh, it's Bon Jovi. Never heard of him. Living on a Prayer. All these songs. Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. It was funny because I go to schools and I speak sometimes, and I have a cousin who's a principal at an elementary school up in Canada. And what's amazing about I was in town visiting my mom, and she said, "Hey, can you come to the school and do a little assembly thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man, of course." So I go in there, and it's I think kindergarten and third grade, I think, or fourth grade. Um, and I literally, the question I play a little, I talk a little, talk about what I do, and the questions range from, uh, are you rich? To what shampoo do you use? That kind of all kinds of stuff, right? But then somebody goes, "Hey, can you play Living on a Prayer?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, I can't, because it's in my contract that I can't play it without the band." But actually, it's not. It's a personal thing. I'm in YouTube videos playing that song with the actual band. I'm not gonna do it by myself. But I picked up my phone and I said, if I sing the first line and you guys sing the title, I'll do that. And they're like, okay. So it's these kids that are like young to 8, maybe even 12 years old. And they're in a gymnasium, and I go, whoa, we're halfway there. And the entire cast of kids sings, whoa, whoa, living on a prayer. And I got that on my phone. And I sent it to John. I go, dude, you got to check this out. I was blown away. Like there was no inhibitions. Everybody knew the song. They just sang it, and it was just a bunch of kids in the gymnasium. It was amazing.
And again, that all expands to you guys releasing new albums and connecting with that younger generation. Like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. This new album from Bon Jovi called Forever. That's this is really cool. And then they start going back through all the records and all the releases, and then you'll eventually go back to Living Out of Prayer, Slippery When Wet, and stuff like that. So that's awesome. So uh you when I was typing up questions to ask you, I noticed you have huge collection of guitars. Just walk me through that collection. I mean, that is I think to me that's badass when I was looking that up.
Oh, thanks, man. I actually. Oh, wait a minute. That's not my collection.
Or the equipment you use.
Okay, the equipment that I use, yeah. So a lot of people are like, "Hey, man, that's amazing that you have all those guitars." I don't have any vintage guitars. I did have a few. I got rid of them. I'm thinning the hurt. When you become a dad and you want to run around with the kids and stuff like that, if I haven't used the guitar in a year, it's time to get rid of it, kind of thing. But my studio is where it's like it ain't a man cave. It's a studio. So that's exciting that I got all my amps against the wall and they're all patched into this bay where I can select. And then the guitars, there's guitars I love to play. I've been a Gibson fan forever, and I became a Gibson endorsee in 2020. And so I'm an SG guy. I have a signature SG coming out with Gibson. But I love playing, and it's funny when you're a Gibson guy and you play in a mega band, and you can have all these guitars in a vault because there's different tunings and different uh, sounds. And man, I'm going to use the Explorer for this. I'm going to use the Flying V for that. I got SGs for this. I got Les Pauls for that. I got ES335s for that. So being a Gibson is like being a kid in a candy store because all my favorite guitar players used Gibson when I was growing up. So that was pretty amazing.
Uh, Phil, thank you so much for joining me and taking us through your rock and roll journey so far. I know it's not even remotely close to being over. I'm so excited to see what the future holds for you, the Drills, Bon Jovi, um, his newest single, "Don't Wake Up Dead," and Bon Jovi's "Forever" album is out everywhere you can get music, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can get music. So the one and only Phil X. Thank you so much for joining me. This was absolutely
Aaron,
a riot.
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks
Of
for your
course.
time.
Of course. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm speechless. I really am. I just this to talk to somebody who started off on he just started off playing the guitar, started playing Elvis when he was a kid, to now being an official member of one of the greatest rock bands in American history, that being Bon Jovi, and him leading his own group called Phil X and the Drills Again. That his new single "Don't Wake Up Dead" is available anywhere you can get music, on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you can get music. Make sure you go check that out, and make sure you check out Bon Jovi Forever. That's also out wherever you get music as well. A lot of great songs. Whether if you're an older Bon Jovi fan, a newer Bon Jovi fan, or just starting out, whatever the case may be, make sure you go check all those out. So that's gonna do it for this installment of Keeping It Fresh. I really hope you had a great holiday. Really hope you enjoyed this installment of the show, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Until then, as always,